Hey everyone, today we're going to look at point slope form. You are used to writing it in slope intercept form anytime you have a slope or a y-intercept. So the slope intercept form, is this y equals mx plus b, and that's what y'all are used to dealing with. So this is a new way to write our values that are given to us. All right, so this form is located right here. It looks a little weird, definitely. But what it is, and it explains it here to the right. So you do still have your slope as m. And now that x1 and that y1 that are in the equation are actually your coordinates of a point that is on your line, okay? Usually they give it to you. You can choose any point that is on that line in order to make that equation. But you need to know this little bit of information. We're going to use this equation today throughout this paper or this video. So if you'll take a look at the graphs below, number one gives you this graph. It is a positive sloping line. It tells you that the slope is 3, and then it gives you a point down here. All we're going to do is we are going to plug in to this equation above. So I want to write my x1 and my y1 right here beside this point. All right, so I've noticed, you can see that I have put x1, y1 kind of right below that point, so you can kind of see that that is what we're going to fill into our equation. So I'm going to write y minus my y1. Alrighty. And then equals my slope of 3, and then x minus my x1, which is -1. So -1. Alrighty. So if you noticed, I plugged them in with a parentheses, and now we're just going to kind of clean it up a little bit. And what I mean by that is sometimes we'll leave the minus a negative, but a lot of the time you will see it written. Anytime you minus a negative is the same thing as adding. So you might see it a little more cleaned up with a plus sign anytime you have that minus a negative. So I have y plus 2 equals 3, parentheses, x plus 1. So just keep that in mind, that your answer could like this one above, or the much more cleaner version of not minusing a negative. All right, so that's it. They just want you to write it in that form. Number 2, let me change my color a little. Number 2, we're given this line on our graph, and it says that the m is 0. Here is our x1 and our y1, and then like above, we're going to fill into that equation. So we have y minus our y1, which again is -3, and we can deal with that in a second. And then our slope is actually 0, and then x minus 2. All right, so technically we have written it exactly like what we want. I'm going to clean up this little minusing a negative here. So it should be y plus 3 equals 0 x minus 2. And you might be saying, but Miss Smiley, I have 0 times all of this. Doesn't it just equal 0? Well, this is technically written in point slope form. I would also, and I bet Mr. Jewell would take y plus 3 equals 0. Now, if it was on our Schoology or on a different test where all you're simply doing is putting it into the equation, you're not doing anything with the equation, I'm pretty sure you're going to be left with the one in the box. So I'm just going to go ahead and erase this a little bit, even though we know 0 times anything is 0. So let me move down, and we'll go to our next example. So what if they just give us the point and the slope? That might be the easiest thing. I'm still going to label this as my x1 and my y1, and I'm going to plug in y minus 1 equals 2 x minus 3. And except for that little bitty There we go. Fix that. All right. That's it. Done. So try number 4. Come back and see if you got it right. All right, welcome back. You should have y minus 6 equals 8. See if we can make an 8. And x minus negative 4. Remember that minus negative 4 can be changed to a plus sign. So change it to a plus sign. And then that's it. Y minus 6 equals 8, parentheses, x plus 4. All right, last little bit of examples. Converting from point slope form into slope intercept form. So we want our final answer to be in y equals mx plus b. So here's an example, and then you're going to do 2 problems, and we'll see if you get them right. So our first example, the thing I'm going to do first is distributive property. And if you remember distributive property, I draw my arrows because that 2 is multiplying with each term on the inside. And then I'll deal with that minusing 3 over on the left-hand side of my equal sign. So 2 times x is 2x. 2 times a negative 5 is a negative 10. And then I want to get y by itself because I want it as y equals mx plus b. So I need to add 3 to the right-hand side, and it's going to I'm going to write it right underneath that 10 because those 3's will cancel. So over here where I have more room, y equals 2x minus 7. This point slope formula that they gave you, it was in point slope, and now it is transitioned over here into slope intercept form. All right, so now we have 7 and 8 as our examples. If you want to try and work them, and then unpause, and we will work them out together and see if you got them right. All right, welcome back. I'm going to change this color. So I'm going to do distributive property first. So I have y minus 8 equals 3x plus 12. And then your last step is to add the 8 to the other side. So 12 plus 8 will give you 20. So all together now we have y equals 3x plus 20. It's not too hard moving it from point slope into standard form. Okay? If you have a negative multiplying, remember to bring that negative with it. That might be where it gets a little tricky, but we have y minus 6 equals negative 4x, and then minus 4, because negative 4 times 1 is a negative 4. So I'm going to add my 6 this time to the negative 4. And you should get y equals negative 4x plus 2. And that is it for today. Okay, you go to Schoology, do the assignment. If you have questions, get a hold of Mr. Joel or myself. Have a great day.